just Joe's return, and I mean, could it have been any better than that?
Yeah, epic. Shame we wasted it and didn't win. Which that's on our group because he more than did his part. He tried to drag us to a win here tonight. Just some uncharacteristic mistakes. 2 face-off goals, essentially off missed assignments. Just didn't play hard enough for long enough with enough detail in our game, and I think that's what you get this time. It reminds me a little bit of Game 1 against Minnesota. We turned it on late, had some chances in overtime, but just need a little bit more for a little bit longer.
As much as you talk about facing an opponent like that, when you actually get through a game, how much do you learn in the process of that first game?
Yeah, there's always things to learn. I mean, we'll look at the tape tomorrow and reset and get ready for Game 2. And again, we've been in this spot before, so I'm sure we'll respond.
Pete, it seemed like, at least from up top, from our vantage point, that they're moving faster around the ice than the Wild were. Was there an adjustment period maybe for your team just in the difference between the Wild play and the way that Seattle does?
I don't know of an adjustment. I mean, you watch the Toronto-Florida game, those teams coming off those Game 7s against teams that are sitting around waiting, there's a little bit of an adjustment period, I think it was probably the same in that early game I watched a little bit. Florida was flying around the ice and Toronto looked like they were standing still a little bit. So, I thought, we adjusted, we got into the game. We didn't do enough for long enough with enough detail in our game to win. That's the bottom line.
Joe, coming back from this, you saw this a few years ago with San Jose as well. That was against Grubauer too. But just, what is it about that moment that when he does come back that, it just feels like he was kind of aching for it and just kind of ready for that moment?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just Joe, I'm not surprised. I should be, everybody should be. He's the oldest guy on the sheet ice tonight, and he's by far the best player on either team, but that's just Joe.
I was just saying, how do you feel about Ottinger, after the first period, and then he settled in the second and third?
Yeah, I thought he settled in. He made some big saves in the latter part of that game. We had to push a little bit to try and get back in. We opened up a little bit, and he had to make some big saves. He looked back to normal in the second half of that game.
The way that you guys did start, any of that being off for 4 days, and you talked before the series about the rest versus rust and whether or not that enters into it.
Yeah.
Was there anything to that?
Well, we got off to a decent start. I mean, we're up 1-0, we're up 2-1. We had no detail. We handed them some goals off, like I said, missed assignments, little details that you can't miss this time of year.